Welcome,
Welcome, welcome! Welcome, everybody, to our first ever Tipsy
Tipsy
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, so Tipsy Tuesday is our weekly live session where we share some spicy outsourcing tips to help you or busy entrepreneurs hire smarter, delegate better, and basically do outsourcing the easier way.
And the smarter way.
No hangovers included.
Yes.
I'm Liz.
And I'm Esther.
Today, we're going to be talking about something big for February. And no, it's not love. It's actually a four-part series about VA matchmaking. Can you tell us about what the VA matchmaking series is about, Momshi?
So this is about navigating through hiring process, getting talents and what to look for, especially today. So our session for today will be talking about the red flags.
Where's my red flag?
Red flags of hiring a VA or
Yeah.
any hire that you have. It doesn't necessarily mean just a VA, but for any hiring, this will really help you in your hiring process and scale better and smarter.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Why did we even choose red flags in the first place? Probably because I think that it all started because of our own VA stories, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If you have any VA horror stories, guys, I would highly encourage you to drop it in the comment section so that we can have something to actually talk about and discuss later on. But going back to our topic right now, which is VA red flags, I'm really excited about today because I've been in freelancing for more than 13 years, and we have this saying in the industry that people come and go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a norm for us, especially after everything that we've been through, right?
Yes, that's true. I would highly agree. Um, Especially in our industry as freelancers, at the first, being a first timer freelancer, we really have to be mindful on, on our applications because we tend to nowadays we are on the information age,
Yeah.
right? So courses are everywhere.
Yeah.
You can have trainings everywhere. You can buy courses, trainings, and have someone mentor you. So it's really hard to determine really experience versus what to really put out there as a first time VA. So yeah, as business owners as well, that would come as a challenge, right?
Yeah. I think that one of my mistakes when I was starting to build a team was that I didn't really put that much attention into the hiring process. I was just hiring people based off of referrals or like who looks good on resume. But like someone can be, very good on paper, like they have the best credentials, but when it comes to the actual work itself, they may not be able to deliver. And
Ooh,
it's
that's a
a
big challenge.
yeah, and it's okay if this is something like it's a school project or whatever, but when it comes to a business, you actually lose money, time, and energy when you hire someone who's not the right fit.
That's right. That's right. So I think for everyone watching here, let's just give them good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. You are in our feed for today because for the next 4 weeks, we are going to walk you through everything you need to know about hiring the right VA. Looking at the red flags, we'll basically give you a checklist on what to look for and before hiring, what red flags to look for. So
Yeah.
you will experience no more ghosting, no more over promising, and no more frustrating moments. Of
Yeah.
course, to scale, better.
Yeah. But before all that, we wanted to start a tradition here at Tipsy Tuesday. So that was actually our idea to kind of like because we are the outsourcing bar and we're sharing tips. So that's why it's Tipsy Tuesday.
Tuesday.
But of course, because it's morning here in our time, we can't really drink any alcoholic beverages at the moment. So I'm just
Cheers.
going to have like my Milo because coffee is not in the menu for me today. What are you having, Momshi?
Coffee, 3-in-1, Nescafe, Bekenemen.
So, as we cheers, guys, I want you to think about like what's your biggest fear in hiring a VA, and I want you to drop that in the comment section so that we all know like what to address and how we can help out and give you the best tips for today's live. But yeah, before that, I'm gonna sip my Milo so that I could get a boost of energy because I'm feeling very dry this morning.
Wow, ASMR.
Okay. Can we look? Oh, okay. So, hello, watching from Maasin City, and we also have Jervin who's watching from Australia. Wow. Hello, Jervin.
Hello, guys. Welcome to our live session.
Welcome to our live session. Can anybody drop a comment on what is your biggest fear when hiring a virtual assistant for any entrepreneurs there? Or any budding entrepreneurs or even freelancers who are considering building a team, what are your biggest fears when hiring a virtual assistant? Hi, Ella. Looking as stunning as always. Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. Big green flag.
Yeah,
for
but
you.
while we wait for the comments, Momshi, can you tell me about like your, because I think that you guys started hiring first before me. So I wanted to know if what was your biggest fear when you started hiring?
Hmm. It was clear when we started hiring. It's basically wasting our time and efforts and resources because here we really don't look in look so much into skills that you can offer firsthand before you come in. So really look into attitude first. So we want to make sure that if we spend time with certain employee, if we spend time training them, buying resources for them. Of course, time is a
Yeah.
resource as well, and it's also expensive because you'll have to pay them while training them, right?
Mhm.
So I think the biggest fear for us is losing those, you know,
Yeah,
yes, those
losing
factors, yes,
those investments.
those
Yeah,
investments in them
yeah,
because we are not really sure on um you know here in the province, it's very hard to
find skilled people.
find
Yeah,
skilled people. So you really need to look on someone who can who can offer you an attitude of growth. But at the
Mhm.
same time, you are not too sure on if they'll stay or not after
Yeah,
they've learned something. But it's pretty much because I think it's on the culture that we built
yeah.
that made it work for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I do feel like culture really does play a huge part into um building VA loyalty or even worker loyalty in general. And it's hard, especially like when you have a remote assistant who is far away from you. It's hard to build that culture and to manage
True.
that culture, which is why I really appreciate like the things that you do here in the office. But yeah, guys. So yeah, we don't have anybody. Maybe they're not fearful yet, or maybe they're still, you know,
They're
they're still
fearless.
sipping their. Maybe everybody's still sipping their morning coffee. So yeah, let's dive in. But before that, I wanna inform everybody to grab our free VA matchmaking guide.
VA
So that's
matching
actually
guide.
that's actually part of our VA matchmaking series. We have documented everything in a VA matchmaking guide, and we are going to dive deep by discussing each section of the guide through our weekly tipsy tuesday session. So this is the first part. If you want to get the free guide, you can just go to outsourcingbar.com/guide, and then you'll get the free guide, which talks about the red flags, the questions to ask, and even a few test tasks that you can give to your VA before making any commitment. And make sure to stick around, guys, because we also have something that, we have a big promo for our February offer, which is good for people who are kind of in a VA situationship, as what I like to call it. These are for the people who would like to test out a VA, but they're not sure whether you
Right
know,
fit.
they're
Yeah.
the right fit or if they're ready for a long-term commitment yet.
Mm.
So yeah, stay tuned because we'll be discussing a bit more of that later. So let's dive in, Mosh. For the first big red flag, so we have actually
Seven.
seven. Wow, so many.
Seven biggest VA red flags.
Red flags.
Yes.
So the first one is actually the silent treatment VA. So this one's actually a
Mm.
big deal. Even for me, highly value communication, especially when it comes to, for me, we run a creative agency, so collaboration and communication, especially with my designers and developers, are a huge part of the deal because a lot of it has to do, like, we work a lot with personal brands and they
Mm.
are very considerate of or particular of how they want the design to be. And because I'm also marketing myself as a personal brand, and I do have like a very signature style,
Mm.
I need a developer and a designer who can actually communicate with me and get what I want, talk about my vision, and
Mm.
before we really put it onto a digital screen.
So
Yeah.
the silent treatment VA would be someone who would, I guess, take forever to reply.
Yes. So
Yeah.
yeah, these are the ones who take forever to reply. So if it takes you, like, let's say for example you send out an email and it takes them like 2 days, sometimes 3 days to get back to you,
Yeah.
I think that's already a sign that they may not be as reliable. And if you're, I feel like if you're the one always following up
Yeah.
on them, right? That's also another red flag to look out for. No updates, no check-ins.
Mhm.
So how do you guys avoid these types of VAs?
So I think basically it's a different setup for us because we are our setup is in an office setup. So we can, talk to them anytime, but we do value giving them authority over their task. So we want to make sure that, they know our goals. We have one goal. So for example, for this week, this would be our goal. And then I would know even if we don't communicate,
Yeah.
like on a day-to-day basis, I would know because it would be really hard for me to talk to everyone, right? So um, we, we recommend them putting in a weekly goal and then setting up like an end of day report.
Yeah.
So we know at least if we don't talk to you or we don't know your problems yet, then we know, at the end of the day, we know which problems you have encountered, what
That's
tasks
right.
what tasks you have completed.
Yeah.
So because we also do not like micromanaging, we really do give them authority over what they are working on. So, but we do have this rule. This is a rule that we follow. Everyone follows. So, if they encounter a problem, we give them 10 minutes to really look into how to solve it. And then after 10 minutes, if they really are not, finding any answer to their questions, like going to LLMs or searching in Google or on YouTube, if they really don't find the solution, they will have to ask their superior manager, which is their assistant project manager or the project manager or their team leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the process that we really, rely on.
Awesome. I guess for our part, it's mostly about like setting expectations.
Mm.
So during the interview process, we ask the VA, or like we tell the prospect that, okay, this is our expectation of you. Like, we would be having like this amount of meetings every week. We expect you to, during your working hours, we expect you to be responsive.
Mm.
And we also, I think we also kind of like implemented the same as you guys. So an end of day report.
Mm.
So if they are familiar with it, but it's very hard to kind of like assess that once, like, if you haven't actually worked together yet, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of VAs, they are great at the start,
Mm.
but then they eventually go radio silent once the work starts because they either realize that's not for them, etc., etc. So many excuses. But that's exactly why we actually created for you guys the VA sampler, right? It's very bar themed. We have a VA sampler at the outsourcing bar for only $97. It's a 1 week no long term commitment VA service. You get 20 hours for an entire week, and all of our VAs actually get the. Is there any?
Oh, there's a question, but we will get to that later. All of our VAs will be um, helping you out for 20 hours in 1 week, and you don't have to continue if you decide
After a week that it doesn't work out for you?
guide. So you can now download our free VA matchmaking guide. This can really help you on. It's packed with the red flags to look out for and the right questions to ask your VA and how to test the VA before making any commitment. So, for
Yeah.
me, ma'am, how do you avoid this, this problem? Our first red flag is the silent VA. How do you avoid those types of it? Like what would you be looking for? Because as you've said earlier, there's a difference if you're working for them for the first time and if you've already worked for them, right?
Yeah. For us, it's really, I would love to assess how they respond via email. Yeah, before, any instant messaging system, I like to see how fast they would respond via email. And if they are, and then they're consistent, also, I think that putting them on probation actually helps because you don't really like I said, you don't really get a feel of how the VA actually works long term without actually trying them out first. Because some people, best foot forward. Even in a relationship, we always put our best foot
That's
forward.
true. I remember this, and this is a true story, guys. I remember her. I also talked to you about this. I think a few days ago. So his first resume has like a big capitalized, headline saying "Hire me, I'm an expert," and that was like 2011. So that was like 14, 15 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. And I believe that's also in the industry right now because but I would really say that it's fine, of course, because we learn through our experiences,
Yeah.
and and our work experiences. But we have to be very mindful, really, on giving our clients and our applications, you know, putting in information that are really not.
yes, I agree. And I think that's actually red flag number two.
Yes.
Like the trust me, I got this VA.
Like number two.
Yeah, red flag number two. So these are the VAs that actually lack experience but over promises a lot.
Mm.
So they say I can do SEO, social media, video editing, admin, sales funnels, bookkeeping, branding, web development, and customer service. Monch, I have been here in this industry for 30 plus years and I can't even do this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you are selling, someone who like it's a jack of all trades, right?
Yeah.
And it's too good to be true. So nowadays it's really important to really determine your business needs and determine on what your business really needs. So you'll have to. Oh, okay.
Um, it says that there's
We
a
have a
technical
technical
difficulty with regards to our microphones. You guys want us to sing? Do you guys
can go
want us
ahead
to
and
sing?
And we're back. Hello.
Okay,
You're not
guys.
gonna get rid of us that easily. So we're back.
Is our audio
Is that
okay?
is that a big
Is our
red
audio
flag?
better?
Technical problems?
Okay,
No, it's
thank
not.
you so much for our technical team. You guys are the best.
Uh huh.
So that's one green flag, guys.
I don't have a green flag, but that's one green flag.
Yeah. But like going back to where we left off, the trust me, I got this VA. These are usually the VAs who love to say that, like you said, hire me. I'm an
I'm an
expert.
expert in capital letters.
Yeah. I'm an expert, but exactly an expert of what? So
Mm.
you can be a specialist of something, but like when you say an expert, like an expert of what?
But I think pretty much that would be because I've said earlier, I mentioned that today we are in the information age,
Yeah.
right? So courses and trainings are available everywhere, right?
Mhm.
So I could be an expert on those courses after after I train for them, like I know how to do stuff, a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
But I think the you have to consider asking for like a real sample
Yeah.
of those expertise, right? So
Yes.
asking for portfolios, real life. If you would say you are like a web designer for like 11
Absolutely.
years, I would be very happy to ask for a sample,
Yeah.
and you would easily give it to me, right?
Yes. Because we have a body of work and we
Mm.
have several clients who can testify for us that, we've done the work for them.
Yes.
So I think this is something that, you would also have to consider whether there are past samples, especially when a VA says that they are experienced in a certain area.
Mm.
So another way to do it would be to, give the VA um, a, a small paid test,
Yes.
like a trial task to kind of like test out their skill, whether this is something that is fit for them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. I highly agree because you really have to ask for proof, right?
Yes.
On if they really deliver on what they're saying, they're experts on. So-
Yeah, but sometimes also like in terms of proof, because this is a VA horror story, but this is a VA horror story, but especially in the design industry, like it's so easy to kind of like copy work from others.
Ooh, yeah.
And which is why right now we really have been adding a lot of our logos on each of our graphics and even
Mm.
watermark our stuff before sending them out to clients. So before they are fully paid, we watermark everything
Mhm.
before when we send them out for feedback, just to make sure that no one is going to steal our work. But you really can't help it. Sometimes other people do, and they claim it as their own, include it in their portfolio. Sometimes they also kind of like manipulate testimonials,
Mm.
because there are some tools like some screenshot tools that can easily do that
Yes.
these days. So I think the best way really is to give them a small paid trial task, which
Yes.
is why I highly encourage you guys to book the $97 VA sampler,
Sampler.
of the outsourcing bar.
Yes, I think this is why we love the VA sampler because it lets you test a VA in the real world task. Like for example, if you have certain tasks that you wanted, don't want to commit first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially if a task is a bit technical or
Mhm.
requires some specialized skill.
Mhm.
I think this is something that would really help to kind of like for you to evaluate and assess whether this VA is right or has the right set of skills to
Mhm.
actually perform the task before making any long-term commitment. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. So like think of it like a trial period, but without
Without
the
the awkwardness.
awkwardness.
Yeah. Because it does become awkward if you kind of like hire a VA on your
Mm.
own and you say that, okay, let's try it first. And then you've been working together for a week and then you eventually realize, okay, this isn't working out. There might be some awkwardness there, but if you avail of our VA
VA
sampler,
sampler.
like
I think
we've
the link
already
is
set, yeah, we've already set the expectations that it's just going to be a 1 week commitment. After that, you're not obliged to do any monthly like to subscribe
Mm.
to any monthly plans at all.
Yes. So to get access to our VA sampler, you can go to the link below. So
Sampler
outsourcingbar.com/sampler
/sampler.
/sampler.
Yes.
Now
Okay.
we will have to go through our third red flag,
Our
which
third red
is
flag. Ghosters.
and we're the Ghostbusters. So we have here the See You Never VA.
Yeah. The See You Never VA. So the See You Never VA, I think we are all very familiar with this type of VA. This is one of the most common VA horror stories in the industry. This is, like I said earlier, the one who comes and goes. Ghosts.
Ghost.
The one who comes and goes. So these are people who kind of like disappear mid project. So one day they're super responsive, and then the next day they're not. Kind of like they're the moody types of people. Yeah, and then these are also the type of people who can't really handle critical feedback. They crumble. They kind of like crumble once they realize, oh, this is not something I'm good at, or
Mm.
I've made so many mistakes.
Mm.
I'm not ready for this. So it's kind of easy for them to kind of like, say goodbye to the client because we're just working remotely, etc., etc. Right?
Yes, like there's no like they don't take responsibility over over their clients because like you're at the other part of the other end of the world and I'm here. Like, do I really need to let you know whenever I don't want to work for you anymore,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Those are really it's a very sad and horror story. Yes.
Yeah. And then how we typically deal with this, guys, is that we kind of like give people a small, kind of like challenging task with a pressurized deadline to kind of just test out how they handle pressure, because I think that that's one of the things that makes a VA ghost a client. They can't handle the pressure. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Is something wrong with our camera? Something's off today. Maybe we
Yeah.
need more coffee. I should have drank coffee. I
Coffee,
think
not
this is
Milo.
yeah, I think this is because of my Milo. Oh, thank you, thank you.
It's because we are
I'm
talking
gonna
about red flags.
yes. I think the camera is also
A red flag.
we're talking a lot about red flags today.
Yes, you guys, please stay tuned. We are having difficulty problems because we are using new camera that we have invested on to make ourselves even more prettier for you to look at in our live sessions. So there you go.
Are we all set? So is this the final final? It's
So
okay,
let's
guys.
go back to the See You Never Again VA, Mamshi.
Yeah.
Can you share like what does it look like? Like, what are the symptoms that
Symptoms.
business owners should look into, if they would see someone who will be ghosting them?
Basically, so no updates, missed deadlines. I think those are the most common. And then yeah, I think like when you know when you're ghosted if they don't respond. I think within 3 days or at most 5 days. If they still haven't responded, then I would think that it's already a sign that you've been ghosted. But how you deal with that once you're still in the hiring process, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Maybe you can ask for referrals or something, but that's thankfully that's not something that we you know that we have a challenge right here, because like let's say for example for our clients, if we assign a VA to them and they crack under pressure and they ghost unexpectedly, we do have other team members who are just as skilled,
Yes.
who can quickly catch up and take on the work right away. So yeah, there would be absolutely no ghosting. That's why we highly encourage you to still
Take on our VA sampler.
for
Yes.
$97 at the outsourcing bar. And we'll talk about more of that later. I think we've already made our point with regards to the VA
VA
sampler.
sampler.
Let's go to our fourth red flag. What's our fourth red flag, Moms?
The oops, I didn't notice VA. So it's VAs that has lack attention to details.
Yes, this is actually one of my pet peeves. Aside from lack of communication, this is the one thing that I absolutely hate. Like I've posted a hiring post like a while ago. I think this was yesterday. Um, wherein I specifically said, and it was just a text-based post. There,
Mhm.
it's not even that long. It's a text-based post on Facebook, which says to just send your CV and your I think I was just requiring a CV
To an email.
to an email. Yes, and then people were still asking me how to apply. So I have absolutely no words. I don't know how to respond to that. So that's actually one of the things that actually bugs in entrepreneurs, the lack of attention to detail, because you think that it's simple as that, but like
Yes, every little detail. If you sum it them up, it
uh-huh.
would cost you more than you know. Right?
Absolutely. Like let's say for example, you're doing lead generation and you're running a script. So once you're running a script and you're doing it manually, because we have a lead generation specialist here, and she's doing it manually, she changes the first name every other, she changes the first name and sends it to the right person. But if you have a lead generation specialist who has no attention to detail at all, you
Then everyone has the same first name.
yes, you may address Esther as Brian, right?
That's true.
And that automatically loses any chance of you
Mm.
closing that lead. So that's absolutely a no. Even spelling errors, typo errors, even a lack of a comma, or because a lot of the communication that we have right now is through written communication as
Yes.
opposed to audio messaging or video
Verbal,
messaging.
yeah.
Yeah, so it can be easily misinterpreted. I mean, like we have tools right now like Grammarly, we have WordTune, we have Chat GPT even to autocorrect or polish the written English of our written English. So it's absolutely unacceptable for me sometimes when a VA sends out something that is totally understandable. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. So I think a good way to avoid this would be, assigning them first detailed oriented tasks.
Yeah.
Like during the hiring process, that you would ask them like, if you like, how do you check your work for errors? Like, really ask them like, if I give you this certain task, like before you send out them, like if you are a legion, for example, like if this is your task, and then I'm giving you a script to use for all the lead scripts that you are going out there, then what would you do first
Yeah.
before you actually send them out? So really knowing about how they personally, take that process
Yes,
in.
absolutely. Because a detail oriented person knows how to break down a task into very minute
Step
into
by
yeah
step,
step
yes.
by
It's
step
like
into a step by step process.
Mhm.
So that's already a huge sign that that person that you're talking to is actually a detail oriented person. Another thing would be to ask them like, what information would you need from me? Yeah, something like that. Or um to ask them like, what
Mhm.
tools do they use, for example, if they are using any tools, because I do think that sometimes we go, even just installing a Grammarly plugin for me really helps out, like especially with emails. Like I'm confident with my written English, but
Mhm.
there are still times whether I get typos, etc., especially when I'm on a rush. So yeah, having a tool and knowing that a VA is using these tools really gives me assurance that okay, this VA knows what they're doing. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. I highly agree.
So, let's go to our next red flag. So, our next red flag is the yes boss VA.
Yes, boss.
This is also someone that I
No
absolutely
questions
dislike.
asked.
Yeah.
Like you have a 2 hour meeting and all they have to say at the end of the meeting is
Yes,
if,
boss.
if when you ask questions, okay, do you have questions? Like nothing. I don't have any questions. Not
Not
Hmm.
nothing at all. Or they might say something like noted,
noted.
but they're not really
Period.
taking any notes.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
actually a red flag you should check out, you guys. Um it's like a VA who never asks questions. Like it's like a VA who's just following orders like a robot. And
Yeah.
you don't want to, you don't want to have that because um what I do here, like for example, when I train someone, I really ask them like, if you have questions during the training, let me know. If you they say that they don't have question, then I automatically expect them to understand step by step all of the words, all of the trainings
Mm.
I taught them. And then like when I got the output, I got the wrong output. So it's because during the process they didn't ask.
Any questions? Yeah.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
very hard because your expectations would you would expect them to really understand.
Yeah. Because I also get, like, let's say for example, when I'm training someone or when I'm explaining, I already give them the time of my day
Yes,
to
that's true.
actually train them on something. But if, like, I'm already in my work rhythm and you ask me a basic question that was related to the training that I conducted like a few days ago,
Mm-hmm.
that would really disrupt my work.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's my work style. That would really disrupt my work and that would really irritate me. That's why I don't like it when people don't ask questions, especially during the time when you're
Mhm.
actually giving them the instructions.
Yes. And it you will actually see how they want to think critically
Yes.
because they'll have to it's not like they're asking questions because they're
They're required.
questioning
Yes.
or they're required or they're questioning you. Asking questions is showing that you are, you as a person is thinking critically on, the insights that someone gave you,
Mhm.
right? Like, is there something more into these thoughts than just what she or he said,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think in relation to that, the exact opposite would be a VA who asks too many questions. Like,
Like, they really don't, they don't take time to solve problems by themselves.
yes.
Like,
That's also another
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 red
type,
flag.
yeah, another red flag. Big,
No,
big,
no, no,
big
no,
red
no, no,
flag
no, no,
for
no,
me.
no, no.
The type of person who asks for almost anything. Like, I could basically just, send them the duh emoji with like Google it. That's why also, like, before, like, during the orientation process, I am already upfront with my VAs and I tell them that, if there's something that you can Google it first before bringing it up with me, because yeah, they're supposed to take things off your plate, not, not add to your plate.
Mm.
I really hate the thought of me having to explain to you something would take a much longer time than me actually executing.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's not an efficient way to use our time. So we have some questions here according to our technical team. Um Great insights. Have you ever had a VA who seemed great at first but later turned into a red flag? How did you handle it? Hmm.
Yes, I think we do have a few experiences like horror stories of our own. We do have VAs. Let me see, like the
Yeah, the
ghosters,
ghoster.
the never see,
I think,
the see you never again VA.
yes, I think that those are the common types of VAs who are great at first but then eventually become someone that is,
Yeah.
yeah. I think the other type of VAs, like the other red flags here, don't necessarily apply.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. once you are good with attention to detail, you are good with attention to
Everything.
detail. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Unless I think there is an experience that I had. So like I was working with this VA, and then I was expecting them to, only work for me. And
mm,
then once I realized there was a drop in the quality of work. So like this is a funny story, but I actually lost a $2,000 client out of this. So this is a true
oh,
story, like my true horror story, guys. That's why I
ooh,
have
red
a lot
flag.
of trust issues and have established a lot of non-negotiables. That's why I also believe in the principle of hire slow, fire fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's if someone doesn't work out, like remove them right away, or it will cost you a lot of money.
That's
Because
true.
I have hired a designer. She was great at first. She was
Mm,
really, really great. She was one of my proteges, I would say. But then, I learned that she was working with another. I
mhm,
learned that she was working with another client, and that's okay with me. But like, what happened was, she was working for me for almost full time, and then for the other client, I didn't realize that she was also committing to full time work.
ooh,
So when I assigned to her this one Kajabi project that I had with this retainer client for
mhm,
$2,000 a month, it was so um what she did was there was an instruction to add an anchor link.
mhm,
So that's basically like a jump link, guys, that when you click on a button, it goes to a specific section on a
mhm,
website. But and then the client basically gave their like how to do that in Kajabi. So like they put in the comments, here's a link to how to add an anchor link in
mhm,
Kajabi.
mhm,
So it's basically a support article, but what she did, instead of like implementing the anchor link to go to the pricing page, she added the support link, the help
ooh,
page link into the button. And so we lost that client because of a simple, lack of
lack
attention
of
to detail mistake.
things.
That was really hard on my part because it was our first project together, and I really wanted to do good. I
Mhm,
think it was also a miss on my part because I wasn't able to do a proper QA on the links, but like yeah, that's really something that, that's why it's so important to watch out for the red flags. Yeah. Do we have any other questions, guys? Because, as I mentioned earlier, yeah,
yeah.
I think I
Yes,
think
we
we
do have a next question.
okay. I think this one is for you, Mom. Have you ever hired a VA who ghosted mid project, and how did you handle it?
Yes, we do. So at the very first, Kirk hires fast because he's not really looking into skills, as I know mentioned over and over again. So he looks at attitude. So mid project, so we train them. Once they get to know their task, and we really like because we train them for straight 1 to 2 months or 2 months. Then because here we have departments, and we really train them specialized on a specific task. Like for example, if you would go in to the company, we would put you like a content copywriter. So we would train you on that specific task only. So you would be an expert after you come out from that, from the training. So we do have experiences on that. And then what happened was the ghost asked after
Mm,
after they finish the training,
yeah,
and then look for
other
other
opportunities. Yeah.
opportunities, which is totally fine, but not fine with our operations and the resources that we have, because our trainings here are paid. We pay them actually to during the training period. So um but then we built like a system where they got into probation, like
Yeah.
their status would be still on the probationary first, and
Mm-hmm.
then they'll have to finish on that specific amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
and then we give them like an opportunity if they wanted to stay or not. in the company. So we
Yeah.
absorb them typically if we see that they are an asset.
Mhm.
So like for a 3 month time
Yeah.
when they're in probationary, we look at their skills, if they're really fit on,
The job,
the job.
their attitude.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it's not like we're really not committing first on the long term, but we get to see how they, how they perform
Yeah.
during the 3 month training phase. And then we all with that experience we also got to build our SOPs.
Mm.
So it's much easier for us to, as you've said earlier, people come and go in this business. So having SOPs in place, systems and processes and documented, being documented
Yeah.
is very easy for us to, like, if you're gone now, I think we're gonna have someone who will be really good in like a week or
Yeah.
two in what they do because we already have SOPs and systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mom, I'm just informed that we already have 3 takers for our VA sampler. Thank you
Oh,
guys.
thank you
Thank you
so
so much.
much.
Yeah, and then I think we have our last red flag, which is the wait. What's the vibe, VA? These are
Mhm.
basically VAs who have negative energy or like a mismatched energy. That's why we do
Mhm.
energy matching here at Outsourcing Bar as well. So like this, like the way I look at this, because I, for example, I'm such a bubbly
You
personality.
are. That's true.
And so when you pair me up with someone who is super quiet, or like,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, for example, I make a joke and then they just say, huh, or something.
At least there's one ha.
Yeah. Or like,
Kudos to that one ha.
yeah. But like, even a smile would really help to
Mm.
kind of like lighten up the energy. But there really are just some people who are, for me, are too serious for my type. There are
Mm.
also some people who have like, for very serious instances, they are joking. So that's
Yeah.
also not somebody that is, a match
Mhm.
for,
Like you're giving critical feedbacks and criticism, and then they laugh you out.
yes, or
Mm.
like they act childish in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So we are there are times wherein we are immature, especially when we're joking around here in the office. We're being creative, we're doing TikToks for
Mm-hmm.
for marketing. But like, let's say for example, when it's time to actually come and meet together and like strategize and do something like this, we
Mm-hmm.
do get into a game mode. And when someone kind of like breaks out of that energy, it really
Mm.
does ruin the vibe for us,
Yes,
right?
yeah, that's a deal breaker, right?
Yes.
That's absolutely true. I think we talked about this a while ago, like a few weeks.
Yeah.
We talked about
Energy matching.
energy matching. So because we have that for you guys for our free VA matchmaking guide, that's also there. So you'll get to know how you would match your energy
Mhm.
with the person that you are hiring, because it's really hard that you're just the one giving out the ideas and it's not
Yes.
a reciprocal energy. Like when I tell you something about an idea that I have,
Mhm.
and then it's not just me telling you about it, I would also want you to, I'm not telling you to be excited about it, but at least our energy would match, that you would also
Show a bit,
reciprocate.
yeah, show a
Yes.
bit of passion or show a bit of
Mm-hmm.
excitement
That's
into
very
the goals.
important.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because like, let's say for example, there are VAs out there who are just in it for the job, right?
Mm.
But you don't want that type of VA working for your company unless it's just a project that you're working on,
Like it's a
that's,
task. It's a
yeah, that's something that you would just outsource and then they just go ahead with it and then deliver it to
mm.
you once they're done. But if you're looking for a virtual assistant, like someone who would be working on you continuously on several tasks, on retainer, month to month, day
Mm.
by day, you're going to need someone who can collaborate, who's actually someone that you can do small talk with or,
Mm-hmm.
bond with, right? And someone that you can build a culture with.
Yes.
And that's absolutely impossible if you're working with people who are, not on the same level or
Level.
vibe as
Yes.
you are.
I highly agree. I think that's also one of the, like, Kirk told me that because I asked him like, what do you look for when you hire or when you interview people? Because I noticed him interviewing, employees, like he's really not asking skilled related,
Technical
not
questions. Yeah.
not technical questions. It was more like of giving them situations or like, okay, if this is the situation, what would you do? So I asked Kirk like, what do you look into their answers? Are you looking into the answers? He said the answers are just like the surface level that he's looking at. He's also trusting his guts, like his gut feeling.
I should hire Kirk to be my recruiter.
Higher recruitment, like is really good with that because I can really see that all the energy vibes that we have here, the company, like we really are, match with with
Mhm.
everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And then while we're on the topic of,
Mm-hmm.
energy matching, well, you'll never actually know because like I said, some people just give their best foot forward. Like
Mm,
we've interviewed someone who sent out a very amazing
that's right.
no, it's a very amazing video message. It's a sample. Yeah,
Oh.
it's a sample because I think we were looking for a customer representative at that time. They sent out a very great sample, but once that we actually interviewed them, that they were having a hard time actually expressing themselves and answering our questions, and they
Mm.
weren't really paying that much attention. It was very unprofessional. They didn't even at least dress right. Like I
Mm.
would expect, like even if it's just a Zoom call, even half of you would look decent, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Especially if it's the first time or the first few times that you're meeting with a client. So I think this is something that you eventually figure out once you actually start working together. That's why, guys, like I said, get on to our VA sampler.
Mhm.
For $97, it's your risk-free way to test a VA.
Yeah.
So, what exactly is the VA sampler? So, this is where I actually go dive and deep
In
dive.
detail.
Yeah, go in detail to explain to you guys what exactly am I talking about. But you can learn more by going to outsourcingbar.com/sampler. I actually put there what you'll get
Mhm.
and the advantages of it. So you actually get 20 hours of VA support that is valid for up to 1 week.
Mhm.
So there are no contracts, no commitments. You get to test the VA in real work scenarios before hiring them long term. And you get to find out if they're fit for your workflow, your communication style, and your business's needs. But, you know, some people may ask, what can you actually get done in 20 hours?
Mhm.
Well, 20 hours might not sound a lot, but trust me, it's a game changer when you use it right. But that's why here in the outsourcing bar, we have like systems and we have like ready to delegate
Done
tasks
for
or
you,
like
delegate a task.
yes,
No.
basically we have a list
Like
of
a
tasks that
guide.
yeah, because we talk with entrepreneurs all the time who don't even know what to delegate. So
Mhm.
we basically have a list of tasks that they can delegate and help them to kind of like overcome that fear of delegation with their VAs. So Momshi, can you walk us through like what tasks can they delegate to the outsourcing bar or what we can do in the next 20 hours?
Okay, so what you can actually get done in 20 hours. So here's in just 1 week. So with our sampler VA at outsourcing bar, you can get social media management like content scheduling, engagement, and post creation. So we also have email management like inbox cleanup, responding to clients, organizing leads, then Canva designs, so graphics, PDFs, presentations, ebooks, rebranding, then we also have website updates like blog uploads, basic edits, and then landing page setups. We also have customer support, handling inquiries and responding to FAQs. Then data entry and research. So this handles lead generation and competitor analysis. And then lastly, we also covers appointment setting and calendar management. So for the rest of your 20 hours, for your 20 hours that you have subscribed for VA sampler, you'll get to experience those specific tasks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those specific tasks like
Mhm.
but it's totally up to you, right? At the end of the day, it's totally up to them whether they want to, do all
So,
of these or they want to be selective.
mhm.
If they just want the entire 20 hours dedicated to social media management, we can absolutely do that as well. Now, why 20 hours? Well, you may think that 20 hours for a week is, just, a minute thing. But if you actually think about it, 20 hours, if you had an extra 20 hours of your life back, that's
Mhm.
40 hours a month. That's an entire work week, right?
Yes.
It's 6 weeks reclaimed every year and over 500 hours back, or 6 months
6 months.
of your life given back to you. That's
Mhm.
how much 20
Now
hours
you
is
guys
worth.
do the math.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So what could you do with all of this time, all of this extra time? Like you could do more sales calls, more course launches, more Netflix. Hey, we're not here to judge. And by the way, guys, we only have up to 30 slots available for
Mhm.
this. Actually, it's 27 because the first three are already taken. But we are opening up 30 slots
spots.
for this promo. And the first three slots are already gone. So if you're still thinking about it, don't wait, because you might not, you might lose a spot in our promo. And we're only running this for the entire duration of February. So you have until February 28th to make up your mind and actually avail our VA
VA
sampler.
sampler.
So to avail of that, you just go to outsourcingbar.com/sampler and purchase our $97 paid,
VA
yeah,
sampler.
20-hour paid subscription. Yeah. You don't really need to subscribe to a monthly plan right after, but if you do, the first 10 clients who subscribes to our monthly plan will get a 10% off their first 3 months with us. So that's 10% off, including the $97. That's a steal, guys. That's so much
Yes,
a
that's
steal.
a deal
Yeah.
breaker. Let's go.
So yeah, I think that's it, Moms, for today's live. I think we have everything. We've discussed everything in
All
detail
of the
about
red
all of the red
flags.
flags. Yeah, so make sure, guys, that you date your VA first before you marry them, before you go as
Before
a
you
contract
commit.
with them. Oh, okay. We're shout out to
Shout out to everyone who's
Oh,
watching. Thank
hello,
you so much,
Jervin.
guys.
Thank you so much. There's Jervin is saying hello, beautiful ladies. We have a message from Mona which says, "Thank you so much, ma'ams, for the new learnings." Oh, you're welcome, Mona. I hope that you learned something today. We'd appreciate it if you write it down in the comments. Hi, Miss Liz and Esther from Trexie. Hi,
Hi,
Trexie.
Trixie. Thank you for
Audio is
watching.
fine. Okay.
Thank you, Brennan, for watching us and supporting Outsourcing Bar. So if you guys, if we are doing this for the whole month of February, so every week we're gonna be doing a live
Weekly live.
session, a weekly
Yeah.
live session, talking about our four-part VA matchmaking series.
Yes, and if you still haven't downloaded the free guide yet, I highly suggest that you do. Just go to outsourcingbar.com/guide to get your free VA matchmaking guide, which tackles all of the topics that we will cover during our Tipsy Tuesday live sessions.
Mhm.
So, and then don't forget to
Follow us.
follow us, subscribe. I don't know.
Follow us on Facebook, on our
Follow,
Facebook page, Outsourcing Bar.
yeah,
And
follow us on our
you'll
Facebook
get
page.
updated on on what our
Or send us a DM. Introduce yourself, and maybe you'd get something out of us. We'd love to be in conversation with you. If you have any questions, that you would like for us to answer, we'll be happy to do a weekly live on that, maybe after the series. And if you're still not sure whether you want to avail of the VA sampler, or if you have any additional questions, we still offer a executive audit. It's a free
Free.
discovery call that we offer to all of our prospects. You're free to book by going to outsourcingbar.com/discovery to book a call with one of our experts to explain to you like what is the process or what we can do for your business.
Find solutions for you. Yes.
Yes, and assess your needs as well. So we also do the energy matching during that time,
Mhm.
right?
Unless if it's Liz you're talking to, so you'll have to match her energy. It's like another sideways. It's a sideway interview discovery. So
Yeah. But like so guys, don't forget to claim your VA sampler for $97.
Only 27 slots left. Right?
Yes, there we only have 27 slots left, right, guys? Yeah. Thank you so much, technical team. Great job. Yeah, so we just covered all of the biggest red flags. So let's just do a quick recap. So the first one is the VA who does not communicate, the silent treatment VA. The second one is the one with the lack of experience. The third one is
The third one is the see you never, the ghoster.
poster. And then
The lack of attention to detail, the oops, I didn't notice VA. Next would be the yes, boss VA.
the
No,
person who doesn't ask
no
any questions,
asked.
and then the person who
Asked
too
too
many
many questions.
and then lastly the VA with the negative energy, or maybe it's not negative energy, it's more of a mismatch.
Yes.
So that's it, guys, for today's live. I hope that you actually learned something new. Don't forget to, send us anything at all, like what you've learned. If you have any other questions, we'd love to be in conversation with you and to actually give more value to you and to the community that we're building. Join us again for next week.
For our
Same-
tipsy Tuesday
yeah,
session.
same time for a Tipsy Tuesday session where we'll dive into finding the right VA for your business through asking the right interview questions. So make sure to watch out.
And I think that's it for us.
That's it for today. Happy Tuesday, guys.
Bye.